So today we will talk a little bit about the data store. Okay. So one ESXi host can have multiple data stores. The data store is nothing but within the VMware we will have some storage that is called as data store. Okay. Using that data store only you can create multiple virtual machines. Per say for example, if I go to this virtual machines here, I have two virtual machines, VM01 and VM02 Windows 10. And if you look at the space, the storage space, it has got around 40 GB, it has got around 30 GB. So this 40 GB and 30 GB storage is carved out from the data store one which I have. You can see here, out of 92 GB of storage, only 16.7 GB is left out. The use space 75.05 GB, whatever you see here, that is actually carved out to the VM01 and VM02 which we have created here. Okay, if you want to see now, if you go to the data store here, it says how much 16.7 GB free. But if I go to the virtual machine and if I go to the this VM, and if I increase the storage space there, if I make it 40 GB, say for example, okay, now the storage got increased from 30 GB to 40 GB, right? Now let me go to the data store and see how much free space is there. Now you see, out of 16.7, 10 GB I have carved out again. The left out is only 6.7 GB of storage here. Okay, so the data store is very important, and one ESXi host can have multiple data stores. You can create multiple data stores. Okay, in my case I don't have any additional the data store options. Okay, I mean the free space availability. But if you go to the data store here, there is an option to new data store. Click this new data store, and you can select whatever options you wanted. So normally you can give data store 02, some name you need to give. Okay, and here if you have added any new hardware storage devices, if you have added, that storage devices will get detected here, and you need to map this data store 02 to the newly connected device and make use of that space. Okay, say for example, like if I go here, you will see like this 6.7 GB is there, and from where I have carved out here, that the new device will be appear. Select that device and you can continue. You can even plug your pen drive and you can try. Okay, you can convert that pen drive into a data store also for lab purpose. Okay, so this is how you create the data store. Now to the existing data store. So you may ask a question, when I built the virtual machine here. Okay, so the virtual machine wanted an operating system, right? Normally when we are creating a new virtual machine in the VMware console here, in my VMware client software here, we normally used to map the operating system drive. But when I create the virtual machine in the VMware console here, I should also have the operating system, right? So in order to have the operating system, or sometimes we may need to keep some applications stored. So within the data store, where we will keep them, we will keep them in within the data store. Okay. Now, if I just browse this existing data store one, okay, data store browse. If I go here, you see you have an option called upload, download, delete, move, copy, and create directory. So you can just create the directories like this. Okay, click on the directory and you can just type ISO images, and you can upload the, let me delete this one for now. Okay, just go to the ISO images and you can click on upload image or upload, and you select what you want to upload. Okay, go to the application where where you have kept, go to the images. In my case I have kept the images here, and I can just upload Windows 2016 or Windows 2019 ISO. Okay, so let me upload it here. So now my ESXi host, or the data store whatever I have in my uh, ESXi host, right? It is now, you can see here, it is percentage, it is increasing 2 percentage it's now going, means the image is getting uploaded to the data store so that you can leverage or you can use that image for your any new builds. Okay, it will take a while. Okay, so let us wait for this to complete. Likewise, if you want to do some cleanups and all, it will be you can do it here. And sometimes when you build the VM, see, I have built the VM01 and VM02 W10, right? You see here that image and the VHTC, the VMX file and the VMDK virtual machine disk, everything is here. If you delete this one, you will lose this VM. If you delete this folder, your VM whatever is here, na, this VM will not be able to, it will not work, it will get deleted, you will lose the VM. Okay, so now if I go to the browser, it is still it is uploading. Okay, see, this is the image, it's still uploading, just 458 MB it got uploaded so far, but it is close to around 6 GB is there. Okay, see, it is 484, it is increasing. If you just refresh and see, the storage space is 513, so it is keep on increasing. So once the complete completely uploaded, you can just leverage that. Go to VM here, probably W10 VM you go, and here you can go to the CD options here, edit. Here you can just keep on connect, and you can leverage this image, what image you wanted, you can just browse it and you can use that. Here, if you go to the CD or DVD file, there are two options. One is host device. Host device means if your base machine has got CD-ROM or DVD-ROM or USB pen drive, you can just select this, you can put the image there or ISO there, and you can continue from there. Or within the data store, if you have stored something, go to the data store file. See, now it has come here ISO images, and select the image, and we can just continue with the installation. Okay, this is what we will do in terms of the data store operations. Okay, so vMotion means it is one of the feature available within the ESXi host or VMware. Okay, so vMotion is nothing but, as the name itself is telling you, V is virtual machine, motion means movement. Moving the virtual machine from one ESXi host to another ESXi host in case of any issues with the existing ESXi host, that is called as vMotion. Okay, say for example, you have a VMware cluster. So the VMware cluster name is here VM01 or VM cluster 01, CLU cluster 01. This is your VM cluster 01. Imagine. So behind this cluster, you have multiple ESXi host. This is one of the ESXi host. This is one of the ESXi host. Okay. Maybe this ESXi host also got around 100 GB memory. Okay. Maybe around 50 CPUs, or maybe around 1 2 terabyte of storage. Likewise, here also you may have around 100 GB, you may have around 50 CPU, 2 TB. It can be anything, even it can be less or more or less, no problem. Okay, there is no configurational restrictions. There is there is no hard rule stating that every both the ESXi should be the same config. No, nothing like that. Okay, so now you have configured the cluster and you have added both the ESXi host under the cluster. So when you log in, you will log into this cluster. When you see the under the VMware the cluster, you can see both the ESXi host, and under this you will have multiple VMs. Maybe VM01, VM02, VM03. Likewise, here also we'll have VM05, VM06, VM07. So at times when within this ESXA host, okay, within this ESXA host, you see some issue. Okay, maybe the ESXA host is giving some warning stating that the box is getting heated up, and it may be causing some issues, and you notice that warning, and you observe that there is one critical application server. This is VM01 is very critical application server. You cannot make it down because it is, say for example, it's an e-commerce application, maybe your Amazon or your Flipkart. On the day, maybe some big billion day savings, I mean a big billion day sale will be there. Okay, a lot of people are accessing the application. Every minute is important, right? So customer don't wanted to lose the business, so they will tell, can you please somehow safeguard this VM? Yes. When the request comes, or when you notice that there is an issue with the ESXi host and this critical application is running, what you can do, you can call out VMware vMotion. This you can move this VM01 from this cluster ESXi1 to ESXi1 to ESXi2. So you can hard swap, or you can move this VM01 from ESXi01 to ESXi02 without bringing the application or without bringing the operating system down. Okay. Now the VM01 will not be available in this host, but it will be available here in this host. This is called as vMotion. Okay, I think it is clear. vMotion is nothing but moving the virtual machine from one ESXi host to the another ESXi host. In what circumstances or what scenarios we will move? Whenever you notice there is an issue with the primary ESXi host, okay, or any ESXi host which is hosting the critical applications, and you see when you see some notifications or some alarms from the ESXi host, that time to safeguard the application you will initiate the vMotion from one ESXi host to the another ESXi host. When the VM is moving from one host to another host, it does not require any downtime. The application will not be disturbed. The application will be always keep on, I mean it will be on running. The application has no issues. That is called as VMware vMotion. Okay, so clustering is important and vMotion is important. So you should know what is cluster. Cluster is nothing but it is the collection of ESXi host comes together. So when you log into the ESXi host, you can see, or when you log into the vCenter, you can see under the same cluster multiple ESXi host will be there, and management is very easy. Okay, you don't need to log into every ESXi host separately. Okay, if there are 10 ESXi hosts, if there is no cluster available to make the changes or to control the VMs, you need to log into all the 10 ESXi hosts. But in case of clustering, you just have to log into the vCenter, and you can see all the 10 ESXi hosts and all the virtual machines which are there. Everything comes in a single place, and that helps you to ease your administration burden. Okay, that's about the vMotion. Right.